Hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Today I want to get into the VIP premiere that is being heavily discussed with Jin and V and what happened there, why K Media and V are being shamed. I also want to get into Jin leaving a cryptic message on Instagram and what happened there. So, hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab a dumpling, tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. The first thing that I want to get into was a photo that was posted on Instagram. This photo was posted after the storm in which I will have to revisit and talk about, but there were definitely some misconceptions that I wanted to address. It was recently announced that Jin had attended a movie premiere with his acting friends. K Media reported this as several things, such as he is acting now and that he is there at the premiere with his friends to support, and all this stuff. Jin posted on Instagram a photo of him in a cardigan and a dress shirt underneath. He really looked entirely like a dad, and it was very cute. Now, what was interesting was that the movie premiere was for something that was called Emergency Declaration, which is believed to be coming out in August. I don't think Jin is in it, but to be honest, we don't know much. He is just attending. However, it is interesting to attend an event that you have no correlation with. Typically for these red carpet screenings, they'll invite people within the actor and film union to attend. Those people automatically get invites in the mail, and then of course the cast gets invited, all of which Jin would not be a part of. So my theory is that he may be registered with the acting union currently, which could mean that he is working on some projects right now. Exciting stuff. We know that the boys will do solo work, and it wouldn't be completely random to assume that Jin may choose to do acting as opposed to his own solo music. Either that, or maybe Jin has an OST in the movie that has yet to be released. There's several theories here. Jin's photo on Instagram had the caption Emergency Declaration, since some people had no idea what this meant, as not everyone is in tune with every VIP event. Some people were unsure what the Emergency Declaration was, and I even saw some people say that this was Jin's goodbye or military announcement. He also looks dressed up and stuff, so we can see why this was a thought. But I don't think Jin would announce his military announcement this way. It seems so informal. I feel like it would be just put on Weverse as a statement, and we'd get a lot more information other than just a few words. And then Jin would just not post on social media for a little while. So of course, once the announcement of his appearance at the movie premiere came into the news, people understood that the photo was a photo basically showing off his outfit for the premiere. Even though it looks like a simple outfit, I can guarantee it probably costs more than my life. But I love seeing Jin and Taeyang doing events like this, and also hanging out with their acting friends. It was rumored to believe that Taeyang would also be participating in more acting things, given his time on In the Soup a Friendcation, and all his friends on the reality show being actors. I'm going to be reacting to In the Soup a Friendcation soon on Patreon. If you want to join me over there and fangirl, then I will link my Patreon in the description. But anywho, I can totally understand the assumption that Taeyang will be doing more acting. It was also believed, because of this, that Taeyang would be attending the premiere with Jin. This, alongside Jungkook and J-Hope going to Chicago together, was in the news. Now this is interesting because a lot of us don't know where K-Media got this news, and assume that maybe it was from HYBE directly, or that they had inside information, or whatever it was. But the news went somewhat viral, as the two names of Jin and Taeyang together on a headline is big news. People were assuming that maybe the paparazzi got something or whatever. But after the event happened, people noticed that Taeyang never appeared on the red carpet. So people started to heavily question the news stations and claimed that the news articles were using Taeyang's name just for clout, and that Taeyang had no intention of being there. Now, Jin and Taeyang are both from the same group, so you're probably thinking, how would it be assumed that adding Taeyang would be for clout? Since they're in the same group, they must share the same clout. But that's not the reality of the fandom sometimes. There's people who solely support one member, and if that member is Taeyang, then they very adamantly do not support Jin. And these are solo fans, not the regular fans. So much so that there were claims and talk of course, K-Media would use Taeyang because without his name, Jin wouldn't give any clout. And that is a ridiculous statement to make. Jin has gone viral a number of times for just how he looks. If you look up Jin Corridor Guy, you see that the first time BTS got a big recognition was Jin going viral. His name alone is a news reporter's dream. Now, I tend to like to give people the benefit of the doubt. When I see people attacking K-Media this much, I start to think something something is off. I think we have to think like this going forward. When you see someone being mass canceled or whatever, sometimes and oftentimes it's a big misunderstanding. And I don't care if you think a company or a big corporation or a particular person is super famous, and then that gives you the right to attack them. A mass amount of people coming for someone for whatever reason gives me bullying. We should never bully people. The news sites were getting killed over this idea that Taeyang was missing, and what is strange about this is that a lot of K-media somehow got this idea that Taeyang would attend the premiere. How and why? Something could have been said to them to give them this idea. Other media outlets reported that Taeyang was there but did not attend the red carpet, which is why we have no photos of that. And then others were reusing old red carpet photos to show that Taeyang was there. Then other theories shaming Taeyang, saying that maybe Taeyang was just too lazy to go or whatever. And that's also silly, because if he did not attend, then there's probably a reason why he did not attend. Maybe he was sick, maybe he had another business thing, maybe he just wanted to see his family instead. He doesn't owe us that explanation. And of course, there is a big chance that all of the outlets just got it wrong, and Taeyang was never supposed to attend. I also think it's a possibility that media just lumped Taeyang and Jin because they're both going into the route of acting and not music right now. It was funny how they chose Jungkook and J-Hope going together to Chicago. While that news could or could not be true, it's funny how it's exactly the two members that have put out some solo songs that are being reported to be together, just like Jin and Taeyang, and their possible acting careers. And so I just wanted to talk about both sides of the coin there. Now, there were a lot of people upset not seeing Taeyang there. A lot of people do believe that he could have been backstage, but were upset that they didn't go together on the red carpet, Jin and V. And if we were going by this idea that the two were at the event, then there's a likelihood of them just wanting to not appear together as they are trying to do their own solo stuff. They could just want to make sure that they're not stepping on each other's spotlight. But there were a lot of people who were hoping for a Tae-Jin selfie or photo. This is a Taeyang and Jin together photo. This ship in the fandom goes very deep, and there's a lot of people who think the two are dating and wish them to date. Some people think that they backstage were being touchy as usual, and maybe Taeyang went as Jin's date, and this is why he didn't appear on the carpet. I do find it very weird that if Taeyang was there, he would not want to be photographed, since when has Taeyang shied away from photos? There ended up being some low quality or low-res photos that were being taken of Jin backstage, and from those photos we did not see Taeyang at all. It was believed it could be a stalker who took those photos. I doubt it. I think it was just the reporters or staff, and from those photos we can see that there were no touchy moments, there were no Taeyang, there was no secret dating of Tae-Jin, none of that. It's so weird being an idol. You're gonna get talked about the stuff you did there, good or bad. You don't go, and then you're called out for not going, so you can't win. And at the end of the day, you see why a lot of celebrities just do whatever they want and then deal with whatever the consequences are later. And oftentimes they never release a statement, so we never know. I congratulate Jin on his movie premiere. I hope he ends up doing more things like this, as this seems like something he is very interested in doing, and I think he could have a lot of fun with it. If Jin does not make an appearance in Squid Game 2, I will riot. There is literally no reason for him to not make an appearance. Zero reason. But what do you think? How do you feel about people who were upset at the media reporting V would be at the event? Did you think he would be, and were you disappointed? How do you feel about Tae-Jin shippers saying that they were secretly dating at the event, or hoping that they would? And of course, how do you feel about Jin's cute Instagram photo? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.